this. She is our cousin from across the pond. Hey, Saskia, how are you?
Hi there.
Who's
I'm
that you have
fine.
in your arms?
This is Ambia.
Hi, Amio.
Ambia.
Ambier.
Hello, UK and USA and all over the world.
Woo!
We're
Gonna be
sending you so much
famous.
love right now.
Gonna be
Love it.
famous. All right, so Saskia, introduce yourself to everybody and tell them a little bit about your background and where you're from.
Well, I'm actually from the UK and I've always been a country girl and love country music from being a very small child. And that's it. That's it, really.
That's
Just
fine.
me.
That's fine.
It's just me.
And country is kind of starting to get a real big takeoff over in the UK right now. I know at one time, it was kind of slow, but now it seems to be really taking hold. And you got in on the ground floor. Tell us a little bit about that.
I started 3 years ago. I basically just I auditioned for a girl band actually, and sang every genre there is, like in music, from start to finish, from rock to country to pop to everything. And it says there's no doubt about it that you are a country singer.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome. Well, I see some pictures on your back wall there. They look an awful lot like you. How about you expound on that a little bit?
Well, this is my office. I've just literally just moved into my new house, and this is my office. I've just started building, and I've got like literally. Are you going down, sweetie pie? Say bye. We're going down to play. Go bye byes then. Go get your drinky. So basically, all the pictures from on my shelves here, that I'm going to build a full office from my last 15 years of doing modelling.
Modeling. So you were a model at one time. So you're a real entrepreneur then.
Well, kind of.
Yeah, no kind of to it there, darling. You definitely are. How long did you model for?
I still do some pictures for my album covers, my new songs and stuff like that. So the modelling experience is now I've focused it into the music, because I don't have time to work literally full time on just the modelling side anymore. I can only do photo shoots now for my country music and for my music career. That's the only, because there's too much time being spent on the music side, too much time on planning side, and well, up to now, obviously, there was a lot of time, sometimes traveling and stuff like that. But obviously, we're all at home at the moment, which I'll speak about later. And so the photo shoots are literally focused just on the music now, because that's the proper time.
When did you start modeling? What age did you start modeling? Was it relatively young or teen?
Well, my dad wouldn't let me do modelling when I was really young. My mum did sneak me off to a photo shoot for a competition when I was a teenager with it was a photographer that we knew. He was actually my manager when I was a teenager, because I was a trained fitness instructor. You see, I was qualified to teach gymnastics, teach dancing, teach aerobics, and all different Reebok things. I've got loads of qualifications doing that. So he was my manager at the sports centre, and he did photography as a hobby. So basically what we did is me and my mum entered this competition like with this guy, and it got into a little magazine, and that was my first like ever photo shoot. So sorry, I'm not very good at these videos.
That's okay. You're
This
fine.
is my first video interview, so I hope it's going
well,
okay.
Welcome to your first time, and thank you for blessing us with yourself and letting us be your first interviewer.
Well, don't get me wrong, I had one about a year ago, and I was really giggly on that one. So I hope I'm not going to be as giggly on this one.
You're doing fantastic. You're doing fantastic. And by the looks of those pictures in the back there, I can see why your father wouldn't let you be a model at a very young age. I'm a father myself, so I definitely am the father with the shotgun.
Well, that one up there, this one, I was 23 on this picture, and but with a belt on my mouth. But like I say, that's how my mum and dad saw me, and especially my mommy. And so my mum kept that picture at home, and that was my second ever photo shoot I'd ever had done, because obviously there was a gap from 17 to 23.
Nice.
Which, yeah, but I've fit a lot of pictures. I've got libraries and libraries and libraries. I've even set up my own art gallery, which I've got online as well. Which I'm kind of working on my art gallery, my Saskia gallery in the background of things, like because we're at home. I'm also working on that as well. So there'll be a lot of pictures that people can actually buy in any size, and we'll send them all over the world. So that's quite a nice little project of mine, which I've always liked to get my hand into. So yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, I always like to start off our interviews by addressing any white elephants in the room, and obviously we have a big one, COVID-19. Are you and your friends and loved ones doing fine, and are you safe at the moment?
We are all doing fine. We are safe. It's put a shadow and it's put a very big cloud over everyone. So I am sending my ultimate best wishes, my love, my prayers, in hope that this lockdown will hopefully help people appreciate each other, that we're not always going to be here, and around the corner could be, you know, tomorrow's another day, but tomorrow could not be another day.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. Too many people take for granted that tomorrow is guaranteed, and tomorrow is not guaranteed at this point in time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, and the people that we are losing, I just pray for their families, because I know, you know, we all know what it's like to lose our loved ones. We've all had it happen. You know, it's just, I just send out my love, and just please support each other and stay indoors, because, you know, the government has said that we all have to stay indoors. So we really do need to listen, because I'm in lockdown, and for the next month I'm not going to let anyone in my house. And the only way that we can protect each other is by actually staying in our houses.
Yep, the social distancing seems to be working. That we're starting to, very small, but anything at this point is a positive note. That's where we like to go.
Yeah.
How about we jump into some questions? Are you okay with that?
Yes. Okay, go for it.
When did you first know you wanted to be an artist?
Well, to be honest with you, I've always been quite the dancer type and the dressing up type, but I never thought that I had a very good voice. So for me, I'm sorry to say, it was a bit, it was a hobby. It was more it was more a hobby than it was for me a career, because I didn't think that I was good enough as a singer. But when it did start, of course, when I was a kid, I always had the old country music on, like Olivia Newton-John is played every day. It's still always played every week in my house. And also Shania Twain. When I actually started a hobby career is when Shania Twain actually first came out. I started learning her songs. And I just basically went down to the local bar and started singing Shania Twain songs with my friend who did Elvis tribute. And he was very, very funny and comedic. So all my friends came down to support me. And I did actually get an encore for me to come back on stage, right? Because they did like my songs, the Shania Twain songs that I sang. So that's basically when it started. I started learning all Shania Twain songs because I couldn't do Olivia Newton-John, because Olivia Newton-John was very high. She was, you know, very soprano, and I'm mezzo soprano. Okay, so I'd have been like going, ah! And then I would have been going, ah! All night. And obviously I want to sing la, 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 like, well, not like an opera singer, but you know, crazy and all that. So I did Crazy in my music sets. I planned them all. I used to learn them like sometimes in the same day, the next day, and then I used to go out singing them. That's how daring I am. That's how daring I always have been, because even when I was a fitness instructor, I would learn a dance routine in one, like say 4 dance routines, and then in the night time I would just go and teach them like that. So my choreography was very quick. I was a very quick learner. So obviously when what I did was, when I started singing, I didn't think I was any good, right? But because I looked half decent and I could pull off the Shania Twain look, because I'm similar to her when I'm on stage, when I have her costumes on, okay? I just used to think to myself, well, what I'll do is I'll do the first set Shania, throw a few Patsy Cline and a few oldies in, and then I'll do some pop stuff. And I'll do like another set doing pop music, like Kylie Minogue, Locomotion at the end. I even used to do an Elvis song, we're caught in a trap, you can't walk out, because I love you too much, baby. I used to sing that one.
There you go.
Yeah. So what I did was I used to just throw the sets together, and then I just used to throw myself on stage and just do anything. But what I did was I did my own little tour for the first year. So I did all in UK. We have a lot of pubs and clubs where we go and tour at, and I basically did, gosh, I did a year's tour on my own, not even knowing what I was doing. But what I did do in that time, I got a lot of guts. And I also...
We call that confidence.
Yeah, and I just used to think, oh, well, okay, I'll just pretend I'm learning my dance routines, and I'll just pretend that I'm doing like aerobics class. And that's what I used to do.
Very
and then
well.
I used to just throw myself on the stage. I used to go, be my little baby. Well, honestly, you can't make it up what I used to do. You can't make it up in a storybook.
There you go, my dear. There you go.
People used to say I should have been a comedian, but I said, oh, Mum, I'm not learning another career now. Gosh, I said, no. I said, I'm concentrating on this singing, right? Because you've got to kind of concentrate on one thing. And yeah, so after I did my tour, I then toured with an ABBA band as the blonde one, Agnetha. I did a 6 months tour with them, and then I joined a Girls Aloud tribute, and I was Cheryl Cole in that one. And I basically did touring with them for about another four or 5 months or something like that. Yeah, so that was the beginning of my singing actual career. Okay.
Very, very nice.
So I just basically bought some PA gear and just threw myself into it, just like that. I just didn't even think about it. Somebody just threw me on stage and said, right, just go and sing because we think that you can do it. So we think you should just do it anyway. So I says, all right, then I'll just do it anyway.
All right, well, let's go on to, I think you alluded to some of your past Shania Twain's, Patsy Cline, so on. Who were some of your musical influences growing up? Who are some of the artists you look up to today?
Well, obviously it was, it's always been Olivia Newton-John, but recently now, obviously it's still Olivia Newton-John, it's still Shania Twain, it's still, and now it's Lady Antebellum now as well. I love their stuff. I like Luke Bryan, and my auntie's favourite is Lionel Richie, so I actually really love Lionel Richie. I still love Shania Twain. I've always loved Mariah Carey, and I've always loved opera music and classical. So I've always loved Mariah Carey. There's a lot of different. I love Beyonce actually. I really love Beyonce now. I actually do love R&B music, and I really love dance music. But obviously, country music is my #1 genre. I love the fact that I can write my real life situations and pull them out into stories, into my own songs.
Very
That's
nice.
what I like to do now. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, because my mum was a poet, so obviously because we're locked up inside now. Awesome. And I've been, in fact, since I've lost both my parents last year, I've been writing letters to them to heaven for about a year now, and I've got like 3 notebooks full of letters to them, which, because my mum was a published poet, I decided to, because all the letters that I was writing to her when I was trying to chill out and different things, I would write to my mum and dad in the sky, in the stars. I'd be asking to speak to them and different things, and I found that writing all these things, where are you? I hope you're on the other side. I hope you can hear me. I hope you can see me, and think different. Trying to make sense of things, because obviously losing one is one thing. Losing 2.5 months later is another, right? So right. When you have this actual thing, terrible situation happen to yourself, it's very, you've got to find ways of keeping grounded. You've got to keep going no matter what, and keeping going sometimes is very difficult, and the world as we're knowing it now as well. Some of the songs that I've written, like one of the songs I've put, it's really strange because one of the songs that I wrote in October, November last year, it's very, it would be very appropriate for the times now. how the world that we're actually experiencing right now. Because it's actually, I don't like saying it, but it's literally feels like it's a war, but we just can't see this war, right?
Correct.
And I suppose we've just now got to like pull together. Like I listened to Dolly Parton earlier, and she says, you know, God's there with the love, and we've just got to try and believe that, and we've just got to pull together now, and we've got to believe. Got to believe that he is there, and we've got to believe that it will all come right. But if we stick together and we're nice to each other, and the world has been lacking like niceties and kindness to each other, you know, people are like of the rage on the roads and things like, you know, trying to race each other on the roads. Yes. And that's causing like people to be silly as well. And you know, if people could just stop and think about things like that they've been doing, and how they talk to people, and how the respect is kind of gone in the world now, you know. And I remember as a kid, I could go and play anywhere, and you know, we call it dens. We used to have dens in like we used to have this big pond by where we lived, and we used to play like mums and dads and kids, and we used to build things like with trees. You know, we used to make trees into little chairs and things, you know. And I don't think the kids are allowed to do that nowadays, you know, because of there's not the safety anymore for the children to be out doing that. So it would be lovely for our world to kind of get back to how it used to be.
That in the digital age, they're all too worried about being on their phones or their laptops or computers or games, or playing too many games.
Yeah.
Some of that's where the parent needs to step up and go, you know what, you need to get off that and go outside and go play.
They do, because I think now with the mobile phones and everything, I mean, I'm very guilty of it, because I used to do Candy Crush a lot on the phone, the game, and they even wrote, you know, a magazine even wrote a feature about me being like addicted to Candy Crush. You know.
Right. Well, let's move on to your current single that you have out now. How did it come about?
Which Slow Dance?
Yes.
The latest single.
Well, your current single, correct?
Yeah. The latest current single, Slow Dance, is it's a up-tempo pop country little song. And a few radio presenters have been dancing around the kitchen in that song. And I performed it actually at the UK Country Awards as a ballad. Even though it's a fast song, I actually did it as a ballad with a piano accompaniment from the guy who writes all the newsletters, and is a musician himself, my friend Alan. So yeah, we did that on stage, and it was a nice version of it. I really liked doing it as a ballad, but it did quite well in the UK and Irish country charts. Actually, it became a #1.
Nice, congratulations!
In the UK and Ireland. Thank you. And it actually became #3 in the European chart, where Dolly Parton was #1 with Ronnie Milsap, and I was #3 in the same chart as her.
Nice, very nice.
Yeah.
I understand you do a few of the BBC radio talk show tours as well. You've been on several of those shows.
Yeah, I mean, I'm literally still learning, obviously, about music, but you know, everything's a learning curve, and altogether, my 4 songs, Say Hello, Good Girl, and Slow Dance, up to now, they've been played on 19 counties in England on the BBC radio.
Very nice, very nice.
And I've done 4, I've done what, 1? No, 21 counties now.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, and I've just recently done a BBC Merseyside interview.
Nice.
Which BBC Merseyside is quite a very big one. It's the biggest one next to London. It's in the opposite part of the country, other side of the country, like, but it's as the station, it's as big as London one. And I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I've had 6 BBC radio interviews altogether.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. What was the very first live performance you ever did, and at what age were you?
Oh. Do you mean professional one, or do you mean messing around one?
Even if it was performing at church as a young girl, what was your very first live performance that you can remember in your head?
It was at school, and I did Oompa Loompa, because I was we did Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and we had to sing that Oompa Loompa, doo, that one.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the first one, I think. Yeah.
What tour would you consider your favorite so far?
Oh,
that you've done.
I'd say it was the Spanish one. I basically did a tour in Spain with as a Shania Twain tribute. Actually, that was a good one. Let me just put my phone up a little bit, so it's falling off a little bit. That might be slightly better, that, actually. Is that a bit better?
As long as it's good with you, it's good with me, my dear.
Is that okay?
That's fine.
Yeah. So I'd say the Spanish one, definitely.
That's
because
awesome.
I had my own little tour bus.
Right.
I basically had a mini tour bus, and basically what happened was I used to get ready in the tour bus, and then I used to like come out as Shania. I used to go in as Saskia and come out as Shania Twain. And what was the most funny part of it is people in Spain didn't know who Shania Twain was.
Oh my.
But it was so funny because when I did like "We're Gonna Rock This Country," you know, and all like fasty ones, "Man, I Feel Like a Woman" and "Don't You Press Me Much." Well,
right.
There used to be Spanish people on the tables dancing. But they actually didn't know who she was.
Right. Well, that's what, and I've been to Spain a couple of times, and they're very cultural people over there. Yes. So they listen to more of their music, and it's, other than, I mean, you know, there's a few Americans have repatriated over there. They live in Spain because beautiful country.
Oh yeah, beautiful.
But I mean, you get into those type of issues or areas, and then then you'll get to know the people who know a Toby Keith or Shania Twain or Blake Shelton or, well, I think everybody knows who Taylor Swift is, and it doesn't matter whether you're in Spain or you're in Russia.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, I think it was quite good because they enjoyed it so much, but they didn't know who she was.
But you know what? You may have exposed them to something new, and then you never know. That may be Shania's next big place to be, and she'll have only you to thank for it.
Well, yes, of course.
There you go.
But
Okay.
we had radio coverage, and it was all over 2 islands. I think 4, 5. I think it was 4 islands we did.
Nice, nice.
And the guy who had the tour bus, he had his own little radio station on a boat, which was really cute.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome. And he wanted me to move to Spain permanently. I did move to Spain for 3 months though.
Ah.
And I lived in a mountain.
Lived in a mountain.
Yeah.
Not too many people can say that.
I went down to the local like restaurant for food, and the lady said, "Where do you live then?" I said, "Oh, I live up on the mountain." She goes, "What, on your own?" I went, "Yeah." She says, "You shouldn't be living up there on your own." I says, "Well, I do." She says, "You want to come and live down here with us?"
Nice, nice.
But
looking beyond current times, what plans do you have for your musical career the rest of this year when we get back to quote unquote whatever normal is going to be and beyond?
Well, I mean, my opinion, even, you know, if we stick together and everyone's, you know, sticks together a lot, I think, my opinion is that people are going to turn their hands to different careers now, because I think it's a time where people are going to stop and think, and they're going to think, right, this is now where I want to do what I want with my life. Okay. Now, I'm fortunate enough to always felt like that all through my life, and I've always kind of like done what I love to do as a hobby. I always turned it into a career, but that's just me. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to live any other way. But I think by being at home, I think people are going to find their natural talents more. And you see, say 10 years ago or whatever, I think people would have had hobbies. I mean, when I was a kid, I used to make porcelain flowers and then paint them. And my dad made me in his shed where his motorbike, I made him build a second shed, so he had his motorbike in that one, and I had the first one as my art shed. So, you know, I was always encouraged to do arty things and dance and sing, and so I feel that I've been very, very blessed with that. Now, everyone in the world now can be blessed with what they want to do in their own life, and I encourage everyone to follow what they really want to do, because I feel that you do only have one life, and I think you should try and live it how you want to live it.
Live the best life that you can live. Correct.
And I think there's going to be a lot more. I think the musical talent that's out there now it's just mind-blowing how many good artists there are. They're so amazing. There's so much talent, you know.
That there is. Okay.
It's just mind-blowing, isn't it?
Kind of a secret thing, and I just want to ask, any new music, EP or albums you have coming out soon or the next year that you're allowed to divulge?
I do.
You do? Can you tell us a
Uh-huh.
secret?
Well, do you want me to tell you my little secret?
Tell us your little secret.
Well, because my mama wanted me to do music so much, and she thought, my mum always thought that I was going to make it in country music. I did something for her, and I went to Nashville in December 2019, and I recorded a full album.
Wow, congratulations.
I did.
That's quite an achievement.
And you know, I wrote them all.
Very nice.
And that was, and I'm telling you now, I probably wouldn't have ever sat down and written all that material if not for losing both my parents. I'm telling you, because obviously I had to have 6 months off work. I was blessed enough to have very excellent supporters and friends, some very dear, close friends who helped me through my worst times of my life last year. And because I just knew it was one day at a time, you just have to you never get over it, right? You never get over losing a parent, and especially when it's when it's two, you never ever get over them. But what you learn to do is, like the priest said at the service, you just learn to live with it. And
that's
it's just
probably the best advice I've heard ever, right there. You never get over it.
You never get over it.
You learn how to live with it.
You learn how to live with it, and every day you think, oh no, not another day, it's Groundhog Day. You do actually think it's Groundhog Day every day. And I just literally reached my first year of that Groundhog Day. Literally. Phew.
Well, our condolences to you, my dear.
Oh my goodness.
I've been through that myself, and I know it's not an easy thing to persevere and keep putting your foot forward and go through.
Gosh, I mean, like I say, I just tried to stay grounded. I just tried to stay myself. I did lose myself for the first 6 months, I've got to admit. I'm still a little bit lost, but music has given me the light that I needed. And honestly, when I got on that, I'm not joking. I did not want to stay in the UK anymore. I didn't feel like I belonged here anymore. I even wrote a song called about my hometown, saying if they're not there, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to be down the road from my mum and dad, who I can't go and see anymore. Okay. And I booked my flight to Nashville, and I thought, I am going to do this for my parents, because what else have I got? I have got my beautiful little Chihuahua doggy, who I left with my dear uncle to look after her, and I literally went away for 2 months. I got on that plane. I could feel a light come into my life as soon as I reached that plane. As soon as I got off that plane, okay, I just said, I wish she was with me, Mom. I wish she was with me, Dad. But I'm going to do this for you. I'm telling you now, I did a week acoustic work before I went into the studio, and I actually rang you, Ray, didn't I, on that week?
You did?
Remember?
You did?
And I think I played you a few songs as well, didn't I?
You sure did. You were playing me actually as you were going through them, as the bits and pieces were coming to you.
Yeah. So I did like a really intense, like 3 months. I think it was 3 to 4 months on the telephone. I think it was 3 months, 3.5 months on the telephone before I went to Nashville to basically do the songs. You know, put them together with a fellow songwriter in the USA. Okay, and basically I was there like a week doing like the groundwork on the songs, like deciding on the songs, because we had 20 songs that I'd written like in that short space of time. And I wanted them all to be about my mom and my dad, but I was challenged with that one, and my co-writer said, I think they've got to be about other things in your life. Can't just be about your parents. I'm like, oh, okay then. So gets into the studio in Nashville, where I went to one of the iconic studios where Elvis recorded, because my mum was a very, very big Elvis fan, you see. And obviously she made me a big Elvis fan as well. So basically went into the studio and recorded the full album in 4 days and 4 nights. I think it was 3 days and 3 nights, and then the last day was mixing, and then so it took like 7 days in Nashville studio. Probably 4 days in the studio, 3 nights, that's it, and all the rest of the time we're mixing down. I mean, that's how quick this, I mean, I probably shouldn't have done it that quickly, well, but it just felt like I was on.
You kind of had I think because you had the premise of the music that you wanted to do, you already had it in your head, you'd already written most of it. It was just tweaking it and touching it and putting it to music and mixing it and producing it.
I just had to, it was just something to save my own, like, soul. I just had to go to the other side of the world and do it. Otherwise, I didn't know where I was going to go.
Well, and it's kind of like you alluded to, you know, when you got on that plane, you kind of felt the light. And that was your mom and your dad telling you, Saskia, you're going to be okay. We're still here watching you, and we're proud. So.
Yeah, so
because you were doing something you've been wanting to do. You wanted to go to Nashville, and now you're doing it. You put your head to it, and you went.
Yeah, and I did it, and then I went, and then I'd actually bought a ticket to go back to the UK, okay, because it was a return ticket. Did I go back to UK? No. Yes, I went to Australia.
Australia, you went down to our other cousins down under.
I went for nearly 2 months.
Woo! How was that trip and all?
I've got a family there, so I went there and had a Walton's Christmas, with a perfect Christmas with them, and it was the best thing I've ever done.
Awesome.
Best thing I've ever done.
That is awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, yeah. we kind of crossed some of your personal struggles that you've had. What are some of the struggles you as an artist in the time that you've been in the industry? What kind of struggles have you had to persevere through yourself?
Working, being a model and being a musician, trying to match them together. Trying to do one and then do the other, then do the one, then that, 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, right, which one are we today? Oh, okay, I'll sing a song today. Tomorrow I'll be a model.
Trying to find your balance. I get you. Whereas you really got to, because I know a little bit about both of them, both of those industries are so demanding. You have to be totally focused on one or the other.
You do. But you see, because I've been doing modelling for so long, what it was, I had some very, very long-term photographers that my parents had all met, okay? I had also a photographer who was one of the best in the country, in England. He basically takes pictures of all the most football teams, most rugby teams, across, you know, he's an excellent photographer. He basically 10 years ago took me under his wing to make sure basically that I only worked with certain people. And these people that I did work with was fully vetted. They was fully vetted by him. And we basically decided, because of the music coming along as well, when the music did come along, we basically decided that working with these 4 or 5 people and getting rid of the rest, I could handle these 5 people and still do my music career, but I couldn't handle any more than that, if that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense. You were condensing your modeling side so it became manageable, where you could focus more on your musical.
Yeah, because all my photographers were saying that my eyes were black. I was working 24/7 marketing my singing. I was building websites. I was doing my own YouTube. I was doing my own I was my own marketing person, my own promotion person, my own manager. I was editing some images of myself as well. I was doing all my social media across the networks, and I have been, you know, if you look back like 10 years, I was there. I was there too. Yeah, I was probably one of the first girls who had a Twitter account in the world. Probably, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I know that in the first week or 2 that Twitter set up, I had an account straight away. Yes. As a model, it was as a model then, but it was the Wonder Woman account that I've got now. It's still the same, which I've had for, gosh, since Twitter's been out, so I don't know how long that is, but it's a long time, isn't it?
Well, yeah, because I remember when Twitter came out and I first signed on, I actually had a verified account originally, but I ended up canceling it, and now I can't get verified again. And I still have my old account. It's my real name, but they said, no, we don't do that no more. I was like, okay.
Yeah. So basically, it's still, my Twitter handle is still @WonderWoman_, and it's been that since I opened a Twitter account years and years and years ago.
I've seen that, because actually, matter of fact, that's what I tag you in when I was creating the promos for these.
Yeah.
With the abundance of talented artists, both labeled and independent artists, what would you recommend to them to stand out into a crowd? Which basically boils down to, because of the way the music industry is, how can people such as yourself, the independent artists, the rising stars, make themselves stand out right alongside of what they don't want to call the big boys? I affectionately call their cash cows, because that's what they are for the record labels. They're cash cows, and they don't want to let them go.
I think you can't think to yourself, I just want to be famous, because it's not authentic. It's got to be about realness. It's got to be about what person you are in here, because don't forget, everybody in the world is different. Okay, so when you're different, that's your individuality. your own style. I mean, everybody can copy everyone else, and we all do that. I used to do that in my dance routines, and even in the model shoots, I always used to look in the Vogue magazines and look for the best looks, and then I used to put my own little thing to that. You know, I mean, because I'm not a supermodel. You know, I've got curves. I'm normal. You know, I mean, and I'm proud of it as well, right? I'm very proud of it because I can eat food, okay? Now, you've just got to be yourself. The reason why I've kept these I've got 5 photographers that I've had for 10 years who now incidentally all support my music career. Now, it took me 15 years from being very young to be able to do this, because they all knew my parents. It all started out as portraits, right? Very young. And, you know, I built the poses up, you know, like and you know, it's not a thing that comes to you naturally overnight. It's something that, like,
correct. You have to work on your craft.
It comes with practice, you know, like as we know, you know. But what you've got to think is it's not perfect that people want to see, okay? It's your personality, it's you they would like to see. So you've got
you.
Yeah, you've got to get better at showing your heart. I mean, I'm no expert.
Neither am I.
You know, I'm not famous. You know, don't listen to me. But all I know is that as a consistency thing, to keep your head above water, to keep working, to keep thinking of different ideas. I have been that person, right? Now, I nearly broke my leg once, right? I had a ligament out of place, and instead of just sitting at home thinking, oh, I can't model anymore, well, what I did was I worked for magazines and newspapers, and I was training in journalism. And what I did is I had photographers from Daily Mail, Sun newspaper, Woman magazine coming to my house to do photo shoots on certain stories that I could tell about my life, or to get involved with another story. So I created myself for about a year a different career. And the reason why I can do that, though, is because I watched my dad do it, because my dad was the table tennis second seed in England, and I watched my dad became like one of the top table tennis coaches, and he developed his own business for 3 years in schools around the district, so he could spend a lot of time with those kids. Okay, I watched my dad do that step by step, because I used to go to table tennis with my dad because he wanted me to be a player.
Obviously.
I want to be a gymnast or a dancer. I don't want to smash the ball. You know, I really could smash that ball. Like, I mean, proper jump in the air and proper, like, boom, crash, wallet. He says you could be a really good player, because I used to be tiny and skinny. I used to be like really fast, springing. I was, Dad, but I don't want to be a table tennis player. I'll come with you to your classes, but I don't want to be a player, Dad. But you can try. Say no.
Right.
You know, I've watched the most. My dad was a very clever man. He was very self-taught in a lot of things, okay? And he ended up teaching in university. I watched my dad create his own career from start to finish in 5 years. in that 5-year period, from 3 years building it up in the schools to then teaching in Japan, China, and also in university. I watched my dad do that. Okay, and I used to know all his stories because I used to get dinner with my brother and sister, what my mum used to cook, and then I used to stay up for my dad coming in from night shifts, and then I used to get like another dinner. So I used to get 2 dinners a night, and then supper with my dad because I used to stay up. So my brother
That sounds like you were smarter than your dad. You found a way to stay up late without him thinking that's what you wanted to do.
And I was the baby.
There you go.
So I wasn't allowed to be up late, okay? But my sister used to be like gallivanting off out. She was older, and my brother used to be on the computer because he used to typing all the time, doing computer programs. So I used to be the one that I could think, okay, let's get this information out my dada. And I grew up, and I think this is why I have this mind that I have today. I have my mum's heart and personality, but I have my dad's ambition and my dad's drive. And I saw him do it from start to finish. And I've almost done the same with my my modelling and my singing. And look at this now. Look at this magic now. It's like I've gone from laughing at myself, throwing myself around stage, thinking I was really funny, which I was funny, by the way. And I was told I was funny.
Well, no, we've had a few conversations. We've had a few good laughs.
Yeah, but I thought it was just a joke at first. And then look at it now. It became into a proper Shania tribute where people say that I sound like Shania Twain, like 9 out of 10's worth, like her. I'm like, woohoo! Whoop, whoop. I'm thinking, I actually sound like a mum, and this is natural. I didn't hardly practice.
Right, and now you're starting to get all the accolades that go with that, and obviously the awards and stuff will go right along with that.
And then I'm thinking, I think I'm onto something here. And then I went to a recording studio, went for a girl band, and you know what he said to me? He says, "You're definitely a country singer." Do you know what else he said to me?
What's that?
He says, "Saskia, you cannot be in a girl band because the other girls could not keep up with you." I'm serious. That is what he said.
Too much energy for him.
And you know why that is? It's because the reason why he took me on is because I was working 24/7.
Work ethics says a lot about an artist, especially when with all the labels and other people, the A&R people, and even some of the fans and supporters. I mean, they look and see, like you were talking about being consistent, and they look to see if you're being consistent. They look to see if you're being authentic. You know, because you know darn well that if you say something and if it's on video or it's been typed on something, somewhere down the road, that will come back to haunt you because somebody will find that and go, well, that's not what they said way back in 1970 something, which, I mean, you know, I was a kid, so I was only 10 years old in 70. So, but yeah. I'm just saying, you get what I'm saying, the premise of being authentic and the work ethic. They look at the work ethic and they go, wow, this person, they've really taken it to heart and they're doing what they have to do. Regarding your fans and supporters, when things are normal and you're doing your normal touring and on stage performing and so forth, how do you manage to keep engaged with your hectic schedule when you're writing, you're performing, you're setting up your own stages at some venues, and then obviously keeping engaged with your fans, such as myself and the people who follow you. How do you manage to do all that?
Well, it's same with the balance with the modelling and singing, isn't it? I had to create, it took me a year to create a balance between those two careers. And now, what's so amazing about it now is that all the photographers are excited to do a photo shoot for the albums now. That's what's so amazing. It's like they're not that bothered about, oh, we're going to shoot Saskia model anymore. It's Saskia country girl. That's what it is now. It's like reached a different level now. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, because it does, because the having the modeling and the musical career showed you how to balance. So when the fans and keeping them engaged, and obviously when you're traveling and stuff like that, you become comfortable. You were into a routine. You already knew how to do the model. It was just, you add a third thing. You just added your fans and supporters, and so you keep them engaged. And it's not that you're doing anything different. It's just you learn how to manage your time differently, so that you could manage to do all three things and be accomplished at it. That's very awesome. If you could give one valuable piece of information to those artists and future artists out there, that would be in regards to the music industry, what would it be?
I'd say be real and true to yourself.
Everybody says that answer, and that's the most authentic answer they should give. You know.
Well, look at this, right? We've got, I mean, look at all the country music legends. Look at all the pop legends who are in heaven now. Look at their life, right? So, okay, none of them live forever, right?
Correct.
They've all gone down in history.
Correct.
But we can't turn back time now, can we? Because they're not here anymore.
No.
Do you understand? So what I'm saying to the world is just think about that. Just really think. Stop and think. All this dog eat dog thing that's going on. You know, I was a competitive gymnast and I used to be best friends with both the girls that I competed with. You know.
Correct.
That, to me, that's how it should be. It should be like
that's where the term healthy competition came from. I did the same thing. My competitors were some of my best friends because they're what pushed me to do even better, so that so that they could raise their self up a level, and we could raise everybody else up underneath us and just bring them right up alongside with us.
Yeah, because you know what I used to find? There used to be a couple of girls that used to be really good at certain things, right? So there'd be like, there'd be one girl that'd be really brilliant at like a no-handed cartwheel. And it's because she had this technique and she used to put her arm under there. She used to spring into the air, and I used to think, how does she do that? How does she really do that? But I was better at her than like at some other things. Okay. So whereas like it's same in music, there's certain people that are really good at singing low, and there's certain girls that are really good at singing high, okay? And there's some really big talent in like the ones in between. There's some really good R&B singers, and then, you know, I can't R&B sing, but I can country sing because that sits better on my voice. Do you know what I mean? I nearly fell over then. Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's like,
yes.
If people can literally stick to what they're good at, cash in on that, cash in on your own talent. and try not and be like somebody else, because if you know if like in another 20, 30, 40 years when we're not here anymore, will it all matter?
It will only matter if what we
We've got
did
to make it matter.
if
right?
what we did lasted and transcends time, and it wasn't because of anything we did, it's because of the way we did it and that we were being true and authentic. Whereas
Yeah.
I often tell pretty much all the artists, you know, because some obviously some of the younger ones, I'll ask them that, so what do you want to be? And they'll be, well, I want to be the next Taylor Swift, or I want to be the next Reba. I said, no, you don't want to be that. There's already a Taylor Swift. There's already a Reba McEntire. You want to be the first authentic you that you can be. That's going to make you stand out and above everybody else. I mean, you know, all these other artists, there'll never be another Kenny Rogers. There'll never be another Merle Haggard, John Rich. I mean, you know, all those guys, Chris Christopherson's, Willie Nelson's, Saskia, there'd be never be another one of her. I mean, you're the original. You're the one and only. People can plagiarize and try to do what you do. And I'm sure that you get some of that where people try to copy what you do and, you know, to get their foot in the door because you've been the leading influence over there in the UK. You put your foot in there and you're the
I'm
one
not
who's
sure
been
about that, but
well, I mean, you know, I get that there's several artists over there. There's Sarah Bareilles and stuff like that. But the country genre is, like we alluded to in the beginning, is a relatively new thing in Europe and the UK and that part of the world. Everything before that was pretty much top 40 pop and, you know, rock and roll and disco.
I suppose it is quite new. Late, you know, it is quite new, really.
But it's getting a foothold, and you were part of that ground floor movement. You were there, and you had the foresight to look and go, you know, I'm pretty good at that, so I'm going to just go ahead and jump on this and let's do this thing.
Hey.
All right.
And anyway, Ray.
Yes.
You represent me now, don't you?
Well, I do, to some extent. I'm trying to help you out the best I know how.
Thanks.
Okay, we're going to get into some fun. We're going to get into some fun questions. Is that all right?
Okay, go for it.
Without the year, when's your birthday?
11th of January.
11th of January. So you just had a birthday. Woohoo! Belated happy birthday, young lady.
Thanks.
Your favorite color?
Pale pink.
Pale pink.
Mm-hmm.
Your favorite food?
Cheesecake.
Oh, girl.
Vanilla.
Sister, come on now. That's one of my downfalls right there. I do it every now and then.
Glorious as well.
Well, I have our grocery store here. They sell them, and I'll go get one, and I'll show everybody. I'll like, yep, and you can bet I'm eating the whole thing all by myself tonight, and I usually do.
Good.
Okay, your preference, your favorite vehicle, would it be a car, a truck, a Jeep, or something else?
Well, I wanted a big Jeep, but I've got like an SV at the moment, but I'm working on the country girl truck thing.
Okay. That's
so
awesome.
I do like I mean, one day when I get back to Nashville soon, I hope to get like a big wheeled truck for a video shoot or something. In fact, I know it's a shame because I've got my family, they've got like a big massive trucks in their business which I could have used for the shoots, but it's too far.
Right. I get you.
But I do love trucks. I like little sports cars as well.
I think I know the answer to this one because you introduced us to your pooch in the beginning. But your favorite animal or animals?
Yeah, doggies, dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
definitely.
This one's a little personal. No names and no dates because we don't want to embarrass anybody in case they happen to be tuning in, or we don't want other people to figure out who it was. When was your first kiss and how old were you?
uh, actual actual first kiss. Gosh, I think I was 15, and it wasn't a proper kiss. I remember it was babysitting with me, and he was chasing me around the sofa, and I went, it's not going to happen.
Oh my.
So
You had early stalkers, did you?
It was a little peck, and that was it. And I went up for the proper kids. No.
Gotcha. First instrument you ever played?
Piano.
Nice. Have
I
you
can't
ever?
play it properly still, but I am trying to get hold of. I can't get hold of a piano now because we're all in lockdown, right? But as soon as I can, I'm going to get a piano delivered. In fact, I've got my
Nice.
friend on the case at the moment, and it can be delivered outside and put in a garage.
Nice.
So
Have
I'm
you
on
ever
to
had
that
any?
one.
Have you ever had any classical training, either vocally or instrument wise, or have you had both?
No, I haven't had any vocal training at all.
So you're self-taught.
I'm not even
Wow.
taught. I just like Shania Twain taught and
Well,
Olivia.
but that's a God-given talent. Those are some of the best voices there are around, my dear. I mean,
That's just me listening to Olivia Newton-John all the time.
but there's things you do that teachers can't teach people to do.
Oh
And
yeah?
whether it's a change in a rhythm of a music or going from one octave to another octave at the right timing, all that stuff. There's stuff.
Oh yeah?
I mean, people can teach people to play guitars, play music. They can even teach them how to sing.
Oh.
But there's just certain things that are unteachable. You either have that talent and gift or you don't.
Do you think so?
I know so. I listen to your
Well,
music.
when I was a little child, my sister could always sing, but because I was so tiny, you know, I just thought that she was the singer and I was the dancer. That's true. I swear.
Oh my.
That is the truth, honestly. I just thought she was the singing talent.
Right?
She was Cinderella at school in the play.
Right?
Where over the rainbow, where over the rainbow,
But that exposed you to it, and you obviously paid attention to it too.
Well, I was quick at picking things up, that's for sure.
Very, very much for sure. Obviously, with the situation we're in now, I mean, you've probably had enough alone time, but back when things were busy and back when obviously things will return to normal at some point in the future, what's your favorite thing to do when you have downtime?
Go and stay in log cabins with hot tubs.
Nice. Basically, relax. Download.
With,
There
with,
you
a,
go.
with a bottle of fizzy wine, like Carver or something. Love it.
Okay, if you were stranded on an island, would you rather be stranded with your BFF, best friends forever, or a significant other?
A significant other.
Cool.
Yeah.
Who is your favorite artist to do cover songs of?
I live Newton-John.
Nice. Very nice. Let's get physical, physical. Oh. What artist or
Hopelessly
artist,
devoted to you.
right? What artist or artists are on your playlist that you listen to right now?
Ella Newton-John,
Uh-huh.
Shania Twain, Lady Antebellum, Luke
Great.
Bryan, Lionel Richie, Lua Duper. I like her as well, if I've pronounced that right. I like a lot of dance music as well.
Right.
But I listen to the country, the greatest hits country music as well. I listen to that. And also the pop music as well. I listen to all that as well. So yeah.
Yeah, well, that's fine. Because I listen to all genres. Which I mean, we're talking genres because the lines are so blurred anymore. You've got Steven Tyler, Walk This Way. Now he's doing country music. You've
Is
got
it?
yes. You've
Oh.
got Kid Rock, who started out doing rap, doing country music. With of
Oh.
all people, Hank Williams Jr. So, I mean, artists nowadays are just walking in between genres just as easy as us common people breathe. You guys seem to be able to flow from country to pop to country blues to country rock to country. It's called hip hop, but we call it hick hop because hickabilly, hillbilly kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Is there anything else that you would like for the viewers and your fans to know? And how may your fans and viewers keep track of all things Saskia Bass?
I just want the fans to know that music to me is a great healer, and I hope it heals them as well. And they'll be getting to see more the real me over the next few years. I'll be spending a lot of time in Nashville.
Very nice.
I have already songwriting partners in Nashville who I'm actually signed with a publishing deal in Nashville, which I will be working quite closely with this year. I'll also be going to working closely with you, my friend Ray.
Well, thank you very much for entrusting me with that.
Yeah. Well, I've known you 3 years now, hey?
Yes.
So, and, you know, there's quite, if the world does get back to normal, there's quite a lot of appearances that I'm, and like places I've been invited to, which I've been asked to get on stage a few times with these different things. So hopefully, if this happens this year or next year, I'm fine with either. I just want my fans who've stuck by me from the beginning to thank you so much, because obviously it's all about you guys, and when I write something, it's for you lot, you know.
Very awesome. How can people keep in touch with you through your social medias, and do you have a webpage?
At the moment, I have my blog, which is www.saskiabeast.com. Basically, I'm building a website at the moment at home, so I've just started doing that basically. So I'm going to be hopefully building a website where you can hear clips of my music, and then it'll take you straight to the stores. But obviously I'm building that myself, so it's going to be giving me something to do at home. So I hope you're going to help me with that, Ray.
I will try.
So I've got that to build. Basically, everything's got to be done from home. So the songs I already have, I've got about 30 songs, 30 pieces of writing at home still that are going to be sent to Nashville, because they're either ticked off or they're crossed out. If they're crossed out, then I have to work on them until they're ticked. When they're ticked, then I have to get the piece of music sorted for that. So obviously that's the hardest part, getting the music to fit the words.
Right.
But there will be, I do want to set up an opportunity for myself where I can let people read the lyrics as well. And I will be offering lyrical content on my website where people can go and download, hopefully set it up so they can download a document, or if you want to go on my fan mail, I could perhaps give you one of my songs, like Say Hello, my first ever single, which was done in 2017. I could give you that song, and you can have the lyrics as a gift if you like. So that would be quite nice for people to come on board, wouldn't it? That'd be a nice little gift for them.
And your social medias, or do you have links posted on your webpage where people can just click on those links and take them to your Twitter account, your Instagram account, your Facebook, or do you have separate IDs for those right now?
I don't have them all on my blog. They are on my blog, but they're all scattered around everywhere. So obviously that's something I have to basically sort on my website type of thing. So I will have to sort that out. But my Facebook page is Saskia Vies and Saskia Vies Fans. There's about 4 or 5 pages all set up by fans that all work for me. The Saskia Bot, Saskia Nashville as well. And then for Twitter, there's @WonderWoman_. And there's also Saskia Bot as well.
Awesome, awesome.
And
well, young lady,
Instagram is Saskia Wonder Woman, I think.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, young lady, I would like to thank you very much for coming on to K.I.C Country Corner today and for taking in this interview. And
thank you.
We hope to hear and see big things out of you. I know in my heart we will. So, anything to say in parting to your fans?
I love you all, and like I say, them fans who make themselves apparent, thank you to you, and the fans that are in the background that don't make themselves apparent, thanks to you as well. And also some fans that are going to be coming on board now, because when you hear the lyrics for these new songs, I think they'll all be matching up to people's situations that they've been in themselves, and I think there's some very heartfelt words, straight banging from my heart.
Definitely.
Straight in from the heart. So I think
they're definitely very, very relatable. I've had the privilege of sampling some of. She was nice enough to send me little bits and pieces of some of the stuff as she was doing it, and I've heard a little bit of her music as well. And I can tell you all, you're in for a big surprise, and it all is relatable and will grab you and drag you in. So from Saskia and Keeping It Country, I want to say peace out. Y'all be kind to one another and remember to love one another.
Yeah. Everybody love each other because you're only here once. Okay?